Whenever we start discussing ethical issues in project management, we have to start by deliberating. There are many ethical lines that can be crossed in project management. The bigger the project, the more opportunities arise for people or companies to compromise their ethics in an effort to bring the project in on time and on budget. However, when project managers and the other stakeholders turn a blind eye to questionable activities, the results are often disastrous. Loan budgets, legal trouble, and even criminal charges all are too common in today's business environment. From Enron to Bernie Madoff to General Motors, betrayals of principles of business ethics have made worldwide headlines, ruined companies, and cost investors billions in losses. With the added attention on how companies conduct themselves, project managers must focus more than ever on carrying out their task in an ethical and above-board manner. While some behaviors are obvious breaches of professional ethics, other actions may not immediately appear to be such egregious violations but can have dire consequences when discovered. Like conflict of interest is one of the most common things. At the enterprise level, when projects involve large number of people and several of outside vendors, there are ample opportunities for stakeholders to give inappropriate preferences to certain teams or companies. As a project manager, you should make sure that all parties involved in a project understand their company's standards for bidding and vendor selection, and that the definition of a conflict of interest is clear to everyone. A major ethical concern facing project managers is conflict of interest. A conflict of interest occurs when an individual or group has multiple interests in a project, any of which could possibly compromise the integrity of the project. For instance, if a project manager accepts a bid from a company owned by his brother, even if other bidders submitted bids that were lower or provided better services, that decision could call the project manager's integrity into question. Accepting the blame is another instance. When a project goes wrong, the project manager may be tempted to shift the blame to workers, supervisors, or vendors to protect his position. The manager may also consider hiding any evidence that could incriminate him in project failure. Project managers have ethical responsibility to accept blame when a project does not go as planned. Instead spending their efforts passing blame or hiding evidence, the project managers should focus on finding solutions to the problems and getting the project back on track. Safety standard is one of the highly debated area. Project managers have a responsibility to the stakeholders to bring the project in on budget, but they are also responsible for establishing safe working conditions for their employees. Project managers who can cut back on safety standards in favor of cost-cutting measures often find the consequences of not enforcing safety standards can be much more costly than following them. A project manager who maintains proper safety standards can prevent a project from taking on costs ranging from correcting a minor mistake to serious injury or even death. Favoritism and prejudice. Project managers should choose participation or participants from a period project based on their capabilities, not on their personal preferences. A project manager must not play favorites or show prejudice towards workers, supervisors, or vendors. A project manager who shows prejudice towards workers based on race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or any other criteria not only compromises the integrity of the project, such behavior could leave the company vulnerable to discrimination lawsuits also. As a project manager, you may find yourself faced with difficult ethical decisions from time to time, whether you hold a PMB certification or not, or PMI code of ethics provide you a useful general guide to ethical project management and decision making, like accountability. Whenever the things go wrong, it is human nature to avoid the consequences and place the blame. But this damages the careers and reputations. It creates additional project issues by concealing the real source of problem. Project managers should understand the importance of owning their own mistakes and recognizing situations in which team members or other stakeholders are attempting to shift the responsibility for problems that arise. Workplace culture is a serious issue. because every project invites people from different educational qualifications, different geographical locations, from different cultural backgrounds. While today's workplace environments are generally more respectful and inclusive than they were a few decades ago, no organization has perfected its company culture. Project managers should be very familiar with their company's code of conduct and should ensure that all employees, contractors, and business partners understand what is expected out of them. This is particularly important with projects which include team members from multiple countries, as behavior that is acceptable in one culture may be viewed as harassing or even threatening in another. Health and safety concerns on large enterprise projects, the stakes are high, and so is the pressure to get the job done. Unfortunately, this pressure sometimes leads stakeholders to ignore or even conceal issues that might jeopardize the health and safety project team members or the public. While these issues are more likely to arise in industries such as construction, healthcare, or manufacturing, project managers in every industry should be ready to raise the alarm at any point of time whenever they see a potentially hazardous situation. Then the project managers are required to face the hard choices. The hard choices are basically very personal in nature, can be very personal in nature. Whenever two, three, or more people meet, we always tend to choose the favorites. And whenever those favorites get involved in the project management or in the process of project completion, then favorites do get the favoritism treatment. And that can actually compromise the project completion or execution. So the answer regarding this can be debatable to some issue, some extent. This is ethical in order to ensure the pressure of the country's top secret initiatives. But this thing is oftenly misconstrued as favoriting or favoring the individual whom the project manager likes most. That's why it becomes very very hazy in order to decide what is important for the country or the project or the individual. Because whenever you are choosing the favorites, the first tendency is to repose your faith in that individual. You can repose a faith in a person who is more responsible in terms of your point of view. And a person is, if according to you is more responsible, might not be more responsible or more trustworthy as far as the project is concerned. So this is one of the major issues that has to be dealt by handling the ethical issues in